Hi, and welcome to Order Flow Dynamics 101. We're going to take a look at how we can identify the auctions fractally inside of the footprints, so auction footprints. We mainly divide the auctions in the footprint in initiative and responsive. Initiative being the same as a situation of imbalance. Responsive, similarly to what happens in a situation of balance. So what you would typically see during an initiative candle, so this is an initiative candle, these are both initiative candles, a sell initiative candle and a buy initiative candle, is you will see high volume, high delta percentage, because you want to see mostly aggressive buying or mostly aggressive selling going on inside of the candle and leading the auction higher or lower. You'll tend to want to see many imbalances, widespread volume distribution, so not just one big volume distribution, but you want to see it's widespread throughout the whole candle, just like this. And you want, of course, a full candle. So by high volume, you want to compare it, of course, to the previous candles. So you look at the previous candles, see if this one has more volume. With high delta percentage, you want to at least have more than 10% delta. There was a mistake here. Probably this was not percentage, but probably this would have been 2.2 divided by 5. That's around a quarter, so 25% delta-ish. Something less, maybe 20%. Well, that's a big delta. Whatever is above 10% is a decently good delta. So that's how we want to spot, even in the lower time frame, an initiative auction. So let's take here, for example, let's take a situation where we have a situation of ranging and then a breakout. Well, this one is clearly one. We have a situation of balance, right? And when we break out, what happens? Let's look at the candles and the order flow. Well, we see a lot of imbalance here, but we're still in the range, right? Let's first take a look at what's the actual range. Well, this is more or less the big range, right? And then we break out around here. So let's take a look at what happens during the actual breakout. Oh, there you go. Look at this. So we have first, of course, a buyer trying to absorb that gets completely ran through. And this candle tells us everything we need. We have a lot of imbalances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 imbalances. We have an increase in volume activity. We have a really high delta, 37%. That's an initiative auction. The following great sell candle, what does it have? A lot of contracts, a lot of delta, maybe 7%, but still a lot of imbalances in the candles. That's what we want to see and what we tend to see during breakouts. Even here, below this low, we break down. What happens? Well, in the breakout, volume increases from 2.7 to 3.8. Again, prices break from a low, volume increases. And these are all initiative candles. Minus 11%, delta, and so on and so forth. So these are initiative auctions. High volume, high delta, many imbalances, big candles. A responsive auction, which is kind of the opposite, will tend to look something like this. You will tend to see during the ranging phase, in the upper ends, buyers being absorbed. So you'll see a lot of greens at the tops. A lot of greens at the top, green at the top, greens at the top. especially if you're in this situation and you expect this. And right after, big imbalances and initiation coming as soon as we break through. So you want to see typically some phases of absorption at the top. And typically, if, for example, you're expecting an uptrend, you want to see also some at the bottoms. Okay, you want to see sellers being absorbed at the bottom, which didn't happen in this specific example. In this one though, yes. We had aggression here, we have these imbalances, and as soon as we get too low, we start absorbing them. Purple on the bottom, and then aggressive buyers taking the upper hand. Responsiveness. So we have a response from passive buyers. Okay. So let's zoom in, let's see what happened here. And you can clearly see after a big directional phase, we have a situation of responsiveness. We have buyers absorbing all throughout the lows of the candles. You see the dark areas at the bottoms of the candles, right? This is clear responsiveness. This means that all of the passive buyers in these fascias of price are responding, are buying, are blocking the way. But then you look at the tops. You see a lot of green at the top, a lot of green at the top, a lot of green at the top. Well, also buyers are doing their thing. So this is our range. And as soon as we break out, we want to see some initiative. 23%, 1.4K, increase in volume. And what you would tend to see during these phases is delta tending to be flatter. Not a lot of high delta. You don't want to see a lot of high delta in these situations. It's likely less, okay? Likely a little bit less. And this is what you'll typically see in a situation of responsive auction. And these are the two types of auctions seen from the footprint chart.